One.
Welcome back to another Genius Days. Today we're talking about living with conviction, the pathway to certainty. So, certainty is not about having clever arguments, no persuasive facts, no glittery gimmicks, just pure firmness of belief. Just putting your foot down, just uncompromising, persistent, but not stubborn. And living with conviction is all about claiming the reality that you prefer. And we're going to kick us off with a disclaimer. Ivan, you want to take the disclaimer?
What's up, everybody? So, in this disclaimer, we want to tell you that we're not here to teach you how to be like us. We're here to teach you how to be more like you. And we do this through giving our experiences, right? You are a responsible adult, so don't just do it just because somebody said to go do it, right? And you are responsible for your actions, but you're not entitled to the fruits of your actions. Okay. We got that one from the sutras. We got that one from one of the sutras. So yep, let's get started, everybody.
Awesome. So, Joe, you're unmuted. Do you want to kick us off?
Oh, conviction. Our doubts are, gosh, there's conviction, there's confidence, there's these different distinctions. One of the things that always comes up for me is, the Shakespeare quote, our doubts are traitors and make us lose the good we often win by failing to attempt. So you can be like 99% sure, but if you have that little doubt, it can kind of jack you up. But I always say throw out the seed of doubt and replace it with the seed of faith. But conviction is really making a decision that you're going to do something and you're going to make it happen. It's, this is who I am. These are my core beliefs. This is who I am. This is where I'm going, and I'm going to get there. I have the conviction that I'm going to get there. I think there's a lot of distinctions around this one, and I'm not sure exactly where this conversation is going to go, but let's see where it flows. So I hand it over to you guys.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Thank you for getting us
You
kicked off.
mind if I say something soon?
Yeah, go ahead.
So when we were coming in, Sumedh, we were talking on the phone. We were coming up with a title for this episode. The title came out as in conviction is the path, right? Not as in we're gonna have a path to conviction, right? In the same way that there's no path to happiness. Happiness is the path, right? So we took that in mind when doing this, because it's like you could mentally get yourself ready for conviction, right? But conviction is like if you're able to shapeshift, right? And you're able to just be like, okay, you know what? I'm not sure, and that's all I know. All I know is that I'm not sure, right? But at least I know that. Like I'm not like gonna like deny that I don't know, right? And that in itself already just puts you on the path. Like if you actually think about this, that in and of itself puts you on the path, because it's about knowing, but you don't know, right? But you know, right? This freaking weird ass paradox of fucking conviction and knowing and not knowing. But yeah, man, what's up? What's going on for you soon?
Yeah, man. So for me, conviction is like I said, it's like putting your foot down, right? It's like non-wishy-washy energy. It's not like, yeah, kind of, sort of, maybe, yeah, it depends, perhaps. It's just like 100% certainty. And I think I got this from Eric von Sydow, actually, the conviction circle, right? He says to be able to, and he's known as Hypnotica, right, in the game. Um, he talks about this idea of the conviction circle. If you want to have your affirmations work for you, you want to start with things that are 100% true so that your neurology and physiology open up to those other affirmations that are maybe 70% true or 50% true, right? So if you say, I am a man, I am from India, that's what I would say, right? Things that you can't deny, things that are just completely certain, undeniable, that actually opens you up to the possibility of the rest of your affirmations actually working. And you step into this conviction circle and you say, yes, yes, yes. And you keep chanting until you get the affirmation, the confirmation, the conviction that this is actually going to bring me the result that I want. And I think that's a powerful exercise. And again, like certainty, all the confidence, all this comes from experience. And I think experience can come from mentors or books. But when you start to regurgitate that information instead of it really landing with you, then it's not really conviction in a sense, right? Because when I think of conviction, like Joe said, it's a decision that has been made. And that's why we call them, this is just my own perspective, that we call them convicts, right? Because the decision has been made that they're imprisoned and they can't like get out. And when they get out of jail, they're also called an ex-con, right? And so it's like that label has always been stamped. You see what I mean? So it's kind of like a brandishing of cattle. It's like, boom, it's there. And it's not really going to change because it's conviction. It is what it is, right? And so, yeah, that's that energy that I was tapping into. But yeah, what do you guys think of that?
Yeah, so for me, it would simply amount to what's it called? Fortress for tuna. I have no idea how to say this. Adieu vox, which basically means fortune favors the bold, which is, so a quote that is tattooed on John Wick's back. And also a famous Marine quote. Also, a lot of legionnaires back in the day used to wear that as well. Now, conviction has a lot to do with that. There's a boldness to living with conviction. It's very similar to I've practiced the front kick so many times, I know it will hit. And it's in that belief, it's more self belief that even though you might not have any facts that it will work, or that there is even an outcome, but you just trust the process. And by refining the process and creating the conditions for your success, you get it. It's the same thing with kickboxing, it's the same thing with business, it's the same thing with pickup. You create the conditions for, your success. If you look at what we've learned recently from AZD, we've learned in the way that we behave, we tend to attract a certain crowd. And in that, we start to learn if there's any incongruencies. It feels like a lack of conviction. Well, not per se a lack of conviction, but a lack of study, let's say. What are your thoughts on that, Acosta? Bro, you're
You mute.
muted.
Yeah. Okay, cool. So
Sorry, brother. Did you speak to me? No.
what I was gonna say
Okay.
es que si sé español, sí, el español es mi primer lenguaje.
Sí, hermano. Yo también hablo español, tío.
El español es mi...
El inglés, la verdad es que hablo un poco, ¿vale? Pero a veces me cuesta entenderos, ¿sabes? Pero... But yes, we can
bueno.
speak.
Yo te
I
traduzco.
thought you were talking to me, brother. I just saw my ex-girlfriend, like from 3 years ago in my window, and I was like shocked. That I thought that you guys were talking to me. Sorry.
It's an alignment. It's not an accident happening. So look, I don't trust people, right? Especially now when I'm driving. I don't trust them. Now. That is my belief. All right. So that my conviction starts through the belief that I cannot rely on other people not hit me. Right. But I can always rely on myself to get away when cars are coming. And it's been way too many times people are like, I'm at a stop sign and there's just a car they're on their phone. They take a slight angle and are about to hit me. I'm paying attention on the road and I just move, right? But my car would have been done for so many times. I try to teach to my brother because he's 15. He should be driving now on the road, and he's like, I don't know, I'm scared. People are gonna hit me. I was like, no. I was like, okay, well, we have to get the facts, right? Always look at the facts first. It's like, how many times have you been in a car? Right? Like, okay, well, probably like hundreds and thousands of times. And how many of those times have you been in a car crash? Like 0, right? So there you go. The facts become a part of the belief system, right? Because, well, let's be honest, even facts are kind of like a fact is, a fact until it's not a fact, It's it was a fact that eating didn't affect your mental state of mind up until a certain point. Then that changed, right? Starting to even facts opinions because science caught. Point of what I'm saying is when we have conviction, it's like a fact of the world is act yourself. It's like it's not some okay.
Yeah, you're cutting
Is
up
he
pretty
cutting me
bad,
off?
brother.
I might have cut off.
Yeah,
Okay,
brother.
I'll wrap it up real quick.
Yeah, you're back now.
So okay. So yeah, so even facts are opinions. So then when it comes to what it is we're trying to achieve, then we should make our opinions of what it is that we want as a fact, right? I'm not gonna be like, oh, well, maybe that'll happen. Maybe I'll take my goal, right? And if I just treat it like if it's an opinion, means it's interchangeable. If I say no, suddenly be more real. My goal becomes real,
You're cutting off
more
again,
likely
Ivan.
real.
Ivan, you're cutting out, bro.
I'm pass the torch to somebody else to talk.
I got something here. Ivan, yeah, you were cutting off pretty bad. Jim Rohn said, we need to make sure we judge sincerity on sincerity scales and the truth on truth scales. When I think of conviction, I think like I have this conviction, like I have this sincere, super sincere belief, and he says you got to judge sincerity on sincerity scales and truth on truth scales, because you can be sincerely wrong. And I think sometimes you see somebody and they have that belief and they have that conviction, and they're so dogmatically attached to that belief that they truly do have a conviction and they're going down a path. But if it's not based on the truth, it could crash and burn, and it may not turn out exactly like we want it to. So I'm just curious what comes up for you guys around, having the conviction, but making sure it's based on something that's, having a conviction. I mean, I know personally, in the past, you've had a dogmatic belief that I'm convicted that this is the way to do things. And then later you realize, maybe that wasn't exactly the right way to do things. What comes up for you guys around that, like having that conviction and not necessarily being on the right path?
Well, for me to simply be, again, martial arts related and dance related, trial and error. But it all starts with the intention to be good at something, and thereby creating the confidence and conviction in getting your black belt, winning championships, etc. It's the same thing with business. You need to have this almost this on-base confidence that you will get the customer, the product, regardless. Yet you will get the customer, the outcome, regardless. That you will get, um, you know, dot, 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 whatever. And it's in that, you know, unfounded confidence that you build the basis of whatever conviction or inner core belief that you have. And I think we all have this to some extent, that you have that small voice that keeps talking to you like, no, where's the fucking proof? And from a martial arts perspective, the more I learn to, one, fucking ignore it, just believe like it's a religion. That the moment, again, martial arts related, I get you in my range, I will fuck you up regardless. I don't care about the points. I don't care about this. No matter what, I'll figure out a way to win. Sumit or Alejandro or whomever, your thoughts.
Yeah, man. So that's really interesting that you brought that up. I want to disagree with just something you said, Ryan, not in a, in a way that is going to spark controversy. However, just to understand that, finding your confident identity, I think that trumps skill set. I think when you can market yourself and be able to, package yourself correctly and make yourself more amplified or sexy or whatever you want to call that, right? You have more appeal towards your own character. It actually trumps your skill set in terms of the access that you get into certain scenarios. You could be like a master performance artist. However, if you don't sell yourself in a particular way, you don't have any conviction to be able to actually get you the type of reach that you want, right? So again, it's like, would you buy? I think Joe can talk a little bit about this, but the idea of like buying from a Tiffany box as opposed to a brown paper bag, right? Like it's like that ability of really being able to package ourselves. And another thing that came up for me as Ivan was also talking is the idea of repetition, right? So when we repeat something, it gets embedded into our minds and we get rewarded in public for what we practice in private, right? So really understanding that idea, okay, we can have years that we practice in private, but again, it's we're being rewarded in public for all that time that was hidden, that a lot of people can't see that. So that's also one of the strings of mastery that I wanted to bring up. But yeah, Joe, could you speak a little bit about that promotion and that packaging element of conviction and how important that is in regards to sales?
Yeah. Tying, the promotion part, I've been really focusing on this thing called the 1%, solution, or the 1% factor. First of all, yeah, if we take, Ivan or Ryan in a brown paper bag, or we put you in a powder blue Tiffany box, it's the same you, but one has a perception of more value. And so if you're really committed to doing something, if you want to put your best foot forward, you're going to package yourself more attractively. And then when it gets into the promotion part, this 1% solution has like really been resonating lately. So let's just say that, you're advertising and, you're selling a $5,000 coaching package. And let's just say you spend $1,000 on advertising to generate 100 leads, which that's $10 a lead. That's kind of expensive. We can do better than that. But let's just say you generate 100 leads and only 5 of those people turn into an appointment and only one person buys. Like, you spent 1,000 to get a $5,000 client, and so like you don't need to be 100%. You have that conviction. You don't have to have the 100% conviction that you're going to sell 100% of the people. You just need to have 100% conviction that you can sell 1% and you're still like profitable and winning. And so how many times in life do we try and get 100% of the time, and we get disappointed with our results? But just knowing that it's like, if you're doing something super valuable, it doesn't take huge numbers to be a significant winner. And if you get, 2 or 3 clients, you're making 10 or 15K on a $1,000 ad spend. And so I think we need just to have like this confidence and conviction that if I'm doing the right thing and I talk to enough people, I don't need to get a lot of people to win big. It's just 1%, and you could be a pretty significant winner. I'll spend 1,000 to get 4,000 profit all freaking day long. I don't know about you guys. And so at some point you just say, I know my stuff works, and I know my stuff isn't for everybody. I know I could help everybody, but I know my stuff isn't for everybody. But I know if I make the good moves and the right moves and the bold moves, and I just, I stand for what I do and I show up fully, Tiffany or brown paper bag, it doesn't matter. If I show up fully to serve people, there's somebody out there that wants my service. And it's, and like, I have that confidence now. I just know that my vibe will attract my tribe, and what, a good message told often enough will land eventually on good people, and the right people will come into my world, and the wrong one, like, who gives a damn? It's like, doesn't it doesn't matter. And so I have, I think we could all have that, like, the conviction of 1%. Can all of us can succeed if we simply have the conviction that 1% of the people that we attract to us will work with us, and that's plenty to make an abundant living. I'll pass it to you guys.
Right. And it's also the fact that they're not really buying a program or a product. They're, at the end of the day, they're buying you, right?
Yeah, I think that in many ways, sales is a transfer of conviction. Like, I know with certainty that I can help you, improve your situation. Like, I'm 100% certain that, like, I can, your business shit ain't working. I come along. It's like, I'm looking at it. It's like, holy, it's clear to me. Like, I'm like the Terminator. When I start talking to somebody about their business stuff, I'm like, it's just like, you just start seeing like the map and the territory and the, what's working, what's not. People will say words, and it's like they're revealing their whole map of the world through their language. And it's like, I can help you. Also, this is another thing I learned from Tom Hopkins, that we need to go into a sales situation like with the pressure of a deflated balloon. Like, there's absolutely no pressure. Like, it's malpractice to give a prescription without a proper diagnosis first. So I don't know if my stuff's right for you. I'm going to ask you questions to find out if it is. But once I find out you have a problem that I can fix, once I find out that I have something I can help you with, I make the decision you're going to own it before you make the decision you're going to own it. And that's a conviction. Like, dude, I've been listening to you. I can totally help you. I can totally help you. Would you like my help? Because I know what's going on, and we can get you from here to there. So once we know that we can help somebody, it's our conviction that we can help them that's going to actually help. We're going to transfer our conviction from us to them. And it's in that it's going to be the most powerful enrollment, where they say, you know what, I want to get involved, and I'll pay you for that. So I'm complete for now.
Okay. So, I was gonna say that something that you said, Joe. I resonated with it, and it's sometimes I have to reaffirm to myself that I'm doing the right thing, right? That I actually am doing the right thing, right? And even doesn't matter what people will see it, and they'll be like, "Yo, what's he doing? This guy, he's not a real spiritual person. He's not a real monk because he's a fighter, because he's fighting and shit, and he's aggressive, and if you're a spiritual person, you should be talking about unity." And it's like no, you know what, you have your well, this is what came to me after I was talking about receiving God's love. was that like all those people that like they said things like, you know, and I get really bothered when people say things about me that are not true, right? Like if it's a fact, and you know, if it's an ugly fact or a pretty fact, that's a fact. But if you're claiming something that's not true, that really bothers me, because I don't know, just I really don't like that. And so I would play in my head over and over when people would say these things, and you know, I mean, if you do this, it'll throw you off, right? Um, because you get caught up in like, well, how am I being perceived, right? You're sort of thinking to yourself, am I not really putting out that good vibe, right? That's why we have this tribe here, have other tribes, and we check ourselves with the tribe. Am I actually good? Am I right? And that's, we use our tribe to gain more certainty, right? And if the tribe feels uncertain about what you're saying, you become uncertain too, right? That's why you have to make sure that you're asking the correct tribe with that's that specific mindset of that specific goal, right? Don't ask of somebody who makes tea about coffee. They'll be like, no, no, man. Like, they're like, coffee? Oh, no, no. You're going the wrong way, man. You're going the wrong way. Because that's just all they know, right? Now, before I put on, I want to show you guys something real quick. Let me see. I'll show you right here. Okay. So at first we have belief, right? Now a belief is it's limited by design. You know, you learn that in NLP, that it's not a fact, because the difference between knowing and believing is very, it's like, do you know you have arms, or do you believe that you have arms? You know it. You know you have them. You know, it's not even, I don't have to believe that I have an arm, right? But you know what? This is life, and we do have to have beliefs, because the belief is supposed to get us from point A to point B, somewhere in the future. It's supposed to take you, right? So we have belief, and it stands on evidence, right? So Ryan, can you pin this video? Our beliefs are being held up by the evidence, and what is the evidence? The evidence is the experience plus the perspective, right? So it could be the same experience, but you're standing across the room, and you're going to have a different perspective, right? And so that's what creates the evidence, right? And then the evidence creates your belief system, right? So if you want to change your beliefs, you got to go all the way down, right, to your experiences and the way that you perceive them, right? And what you could actually do, and this has been proved by quantum physics, is that you can change the past, right? You can actually, like realistically, you can change the atomic structure of the past by putting a new spin on it, right? And then because you thought about it, you went to that timeline, right? You thought about it in a new way. And because all of time is together, is not separate, well, then that is going to affect your present moment and your future moment just by going back and changing the past, right? Maybe I didn't see it like that. Maybe I actually didn't see it like that, right? Or maybe, you know what? Maybe I was actually asking for it. I was asking for that breakup. That was on me. I was bad at that point, right? And so yeah, man, I'm perspective, conviction. What's coming up for you guys?
What's coming up for me, bro,
You want to say
is,
something, Christian?
oh yeah, Christian, yeah, if you want to go for it, bro.
Yeah, guys, like I totally agree with you. To be honest, when you guys were talking, I was thinking about 5 years ago when I started a business, and I didn't know I could make like maybe 5,000 per month or 2,000, you know, and no one trusted me, you know, like, and I had to have faith. and do the study and have the conviction that I will make it. I actually told my father I wanted to be a millionaire, you know, and he actually got very, very angry to me, you know. I was like, holy shit, even my creator, you know, was like angry with this. He doesn't believe that I could do this. So it was hard for me at that time, but anyways, I started attracting the correct people, the correct knowledge. And one year after that, I was, you know, signing my first website for 4,000 euros, you know. And if I didn't have the conviction, and I didn't have the faith, and I didn't put the work, and I just was convinced, and I was convinced by other opinion, I wouldn't have made that. So I think that conviction is very related with faith, and if you have faith, you do the actions that will make you go to the to get the result. So, but anyways, it's hard, you know, uh, all of us, I think we have these programs that make us doubt, you know, about us, just because we are we have the doubts of our ancestors, you know. And yeah, like I totally agree with you guys. Also, you were saying that you have to be in the correct tribe. Like, for example, I don't know about you, but sometimes when you are thinking out of the box, you know, it's very difficult to find in your environment, you know, to think about the same stuff, you know, and you get convinced about that you can do it. So I don't know, just like I totally agree with you guys. Like, conviction is very related to faith, and also if you want to work on that, you have to work on your beliefs, because if you have the faith, which is the just believing that you will get there without even seeing it, you know, at the end you will be convinced that, and you will know that it was right, but it's just because you had faith. And also, like, I really like a quote about Jesus Christ, which say that if you had the faith, the conviction of little seed, SEED, you will say to the mountains to move, and they will move. So I really like to remind myself every day that, and just like put in the work. But sometimes, you know, it's hard, you know. Sometimes people that you were convinced that they wouldn't fuck you up, they go and stab you in the back, and even, you know, girlfriends and stuff. So yeah, brothers, I agree with you.
Christian, you're saying some good stuff here, and I want to acknowledge you for having that conviction to make your business work, regardless of not having the total support from your tribe. You know, that's that's exactly what it takes. Faith that fizzles before the finish was faulty from the first. Okay, that's the first thing that comes up for me, is faith that fizzles before the finish was faulty from the first. And so I want to just acknowledge you for having that true faith. Also, the other thing, you know, you're talking about moving mountains. I remember I was sitting down with the Mormon missionaries one time, and they said that, you know, if you pray to God to move a mountain, don't be surprised when he delivers you a shovel. You know? And so, you know, having that faith doesn't mean it's not going to take a lot of hard work. And the third thing that comes up for me, Christian, is, you know, I deal with people all the time. You know, there's common obstacles to success, and one of them is environment. You know, one of the sayings is, you know, environment will trump willpower every single time. You know, like if you take an ordinary kid and put them in a great environment, they'll just start getting better. And if you take an ordinary kid and you put them around a bunch of toxic people, they're going to crash and burn. It's not a pretty picture. So conviction may be the only, you have to have that total conviction to transcend the environment. And there's three parts of environment. Like there's the physical environment, like, you know, you can do your web building business with your physical environment. And then there's the people in your environment, like your father loves you, he cares about you, okay, and he's supportive in that way. But there's also the ideas in the environment, like, are you surrounded by the geniuses that can really get you from here to there? And your father probably isn't that guy. So, you know, from an idea standpoint, you can't get that from your father. From a love standpoint, you can, but there, from a love standpoint, he's there for you. But from an idea standpoint, he doesn't have the ideas to get there. And that's why we are tattooed in our cradles with the beliefs of our tribe. And if the tribe doesn't believe that you can do that, they just don't have the right ideas. Sometimes you got to do some tribe hopping, and you got to surround yourself with other tribes or other mentors or other wise people that have walked the path. You know, your dad cannot teach you how to be a millionaire if he's not a millionaire himself. You cannot learn from somebody who hasn't done what you're trying to do. And so, first of all, I'm sure your father does love you. He just doesn't know how to support you because he doesn't have the ideas. And don't be surprised if you pray to God to move a mountain, that he's going to deliver a shovel.
Actually, Joe, 1 year after this, he wanted to make business with me. So it was like, it was fine, you know. And right now, you know, I was speaking with my family like maybe 2 months ago, I think. And they were still telling me, because I'm very like, I don't go to family that much, you know, because sometimes I find they block, you know, my beliefs and stuff like that. But, you know, like they were, my stepfather was telling me, no, you have to study this degree, blah, 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 blah. And my mother is taking my the numbers, you know, on the business stuff. I was saying, Mom, just tell him what we are making, you know, like 5 years ago, you were just telling me that on Einstein there is just one, and this millionaire there is just one, you know. But I'm not telling you I'm a millionaire, you know, but I'm making numbers, you know, by myself, and I'm doing like 2,000, 5,000. And he was like, oh shit, that's a good number. But 5 years ago, he didn't even, you know, trust this. So yeah, like also I asked God for stuff, and he gave me the scaffold, you know, and it was fine, you know. I accepted and just having fun. Learning about this process, you know, I also like learned like pain, you know, makes you stronger. And you know, you just gotta be convinced that you're gonna get there anyways. No matter that God gives you the scaffolds, you know, you will get at the end a bigger scaffold, you know, and that's it.
Awesome, brother. Thank you so much for sharing that and your own story as well. I really appreciate that. And, you know, what's coming up for me is this idea of when we have conviction, there's so much that we can get away with. You know, like if we have like utter conviction, we can actually move the world with our ideas and actually shift the reality around us, right? So being able to understand that somebody else's ideas, if they have a stronger frame than us, right? It can the stronger frame eats the weaker frame. And that's what happens at times is we let other people's ideas, whether they're toxic or whatever, right? They override our own ideas, and then things start to get confusing. So there's this idea of auto suggestions, which are things we tell ourselves, but then there are hetero suggestions, which are things other people tell us about us, right? So that's like someone saying, oh, you're lazy or something like that. And you might not be lazy, but if you hear it enough times, right, you're going to actually act in that particular way to stay within that comfort zone of the identification that you were given. You know what I mean? And so the best way that I've found to break out of that heterosuggestion, and I'll give it with an example, is like, let's say you walk into a yacht, right? Like a ship, and someone tells you, hey, bro, are you feeling a little bit seasick? Now, you might not be feeling nauseous, right? But once they said it, you start feeling your body like, oh man, like now I am, now that you mentioned it, right? So it's that idea that's actually getting into your, um, like your neurology, right? In your physiology. And that's telling you that, oh my gosh, like I feel sick now. But if you framed that comment as a joke, right? You didn't take it as seriously, then you'd be fine. Right? Yeah, man, whatever. I'm not gonna get sick. What are you talking about? Right? And that is one of the ways that we can actually deal with other people's opinions that we don't want to internalize, is not take it personally by framing it as, oh, it's just a joke. Like they're reading from a magazine gossip article about me, or like, and it's not the reality of what is true to me in my reality. Because I can look at a flag of India right now and say that, oh, that's what that flag means to me, right? But somebody else who would be looking at that flag, right, from another country has a different opinion of that flag. Let's say Pakistan, right, would have a different idea of that flag. So it's the perception of what we're going through actually that brings up that environment, the internal environment, but also the external environment, right? So yeah, I had to bring that up. I see one of my cousins is here, Agnihotri. How are you doing? Uh, but yeah,
You said something brilliant there. The person with the strongest frame wins. So, and the truth is as we walk through the world, everybody's trying to clash their frame onto our frame and change our frame. And I think our greatest protection, our greatest, shield of our battleship is our conviction. Our conviction is that if we have 10 out of 10 conviction, it's going to be a lot more challenging or difficult for other people to penetrate that shield. And so I love that the strongest frame wins, and having conviction is your greatest defense from other people slamming their frame into your frame.
Something that I've been doing lately. Hold on, let me take this off. So something that I've been doing lately is I've been getting comfortable asking for things, right? Like, so let's just say I went to a restaurant and I said, there's like a buffalo like head at the entrance. It's like floating in the it's on the wall. And I was like, can I touch that? Is it real? I wanted to check if it's real. So I went and they were like, oh yeah, okay, sure, right. And then you can touch it. Boom, I touched it. And if I think it was fake, I don't know. And then yesterday, something as simple as I need starch to do my clothes to iron it properly. I'm like, oh well, you know what? They had a can there, but it was out, and I was like, well, let me ask if there's more. Right? We look a little bit, we find a brand new can. Like, fuck yeah, nice. Right? And there's a lot of more little things like this that happen throughout my day. Or like, let's just say I went to go see a Muay Thai fight, right? At a Thai restaurant. And I wanted some sticky rice with mango, and I was like, oh, I told her, yo, okay, get us a sticky rice with mango. And she's like, oh yeah, here, we'll give you this box right here because this lady came in here earlier today and she didn't take it, right? And then her colleague was like, oh, what if she comes back, right? And then I was like, well, then you should just make her a fresh one, right? Just in case, so that these don't go out, right? So then I put in the new frame. There's like, you can make a new one if she actually comes back, and if she doesn't come back, then they would have gone to waste, right? And as you can see, the frame is a fact. It's not an opinion. It's not an illusion. It's a real fact, right? And so when we create the frame, we always want to do it with stronger logic, right? And giving me the see guys, right? And then people are like I've been waiting for this is the guy here.
You're free.
Fucking I did ask if he did give it to. I'm cutting.
Yeah, you're cutting out a bit. Maybe turn
Gotcha.
off your camera to speak. Maybe that'll speed it
Hey,
up.
hello,
Yeah,
hello.
we can hear you now, but I was suggesting you turn your camera off to speak, if that helps.
Okay. Oh yeah, and so people around me were looking at me like, "Yo, bro, what's up with this guy? Like all he did, he got here and he got his shit instantly. Literally, all I did was sat down and I fucking asked for it, sitting down the whole thing for it, right? And it just shows you that like if you don't step up, right, you'll probably be standing in line longer than you need to, right? Or if you don't ask somebody where the line is and you just look around and then you see oh here at the entrance is here, right? And there's a long ass fucking line. They're going to the front. They're just going in, but really the two lines, right? And everybody's in one line, and they could have just gone to the front, but because they were installed into, they were too scared to ask. They were too scared to speak, right? With conviction is that like you have to speak like 100%. You have to be talking, be connecting with the people, right? Because otherwise that conviction doesn't actually take you somewhere, because you could be so goddamn sure about something, right? But you share it with somebody, right? Then it doesn't go anywhere. That's just a fact of life. It doesn't go anywhere unless you go there. And
Facts, brother. And you know what's coming up for me in the example that you gave is, yeah, the idea of just speaking your truth and your authenticity, right? And being able to notice that, at times we have to use mirroring to our benefit. And if it comes off as forced and it's not subtle enough, people are going to sense that too. So we don't want to do it in a way that's like super, persuasive and like trying to get it to work, but rather it's much more of a community connection when, someone's talking really fast, right? What I would do as a leader is I would go in that energy, I would go in that pace with them, right? And talk really fast as well, so that we're on the same vibe. And then I would slow myself down. That's called pacing and leading in NLP, right? So to be able to like pace them and then lead. Because if you have a really chill vibe and you're like, oh yeah, and someone's talking really fast, there's going to be a disconnect automatically, right? So you almost want to be a shape-shifting warrior monk, right? In that same way, you want to be a shapeshifter, and the shapeshifter is like water. Now, water is very immediate and it's formless, it's shapeless, right? And understanding that our identities, our personalities are like honey, right? Or like molasses, not really like water. So it moves and it changes, but it's very, very slow as it's moving. So once we use that repetition or that conviction, that becomes the shield, as Joe said, and that becomes the thing that actually moves us and makes room for our personality to shine through, right? And you know how people say that it's lonely at the top, right? I just thought of this idea, like it's not lonely at the top, it's freedom at the top, right? It's how you're framing it, because when you're lonely you have more choices, more abundance of options, and that's when we can feel separate from people who are maybe going through scarcity mentality or victim mentality or these kinds of things, right? So a lot of people locked down, they might feel like, oh, I'm lonely, but it's actually the fact that they have more freedom and they don't know what to do with that freedom. And so that's causing an internal disruption. Um, there's always room at the top, the bottom is crowded. Facts. Joe, you wanted to say something, brother?
Not really. You're doing great. Um, No, I'm good for now. Somebody else.
Ryan, what's coming up for you, brother? I want to call you out, Ryan G.
Yeah, because shit gets confusing, I know. I don't know. That's really what's coming up. I really don't know. All that has been said has been said. Najim, what's up, man? If you're on.
What's up, bro? I was working out. I totally missed it. So hopefully I get some juicy shit right now.
Hey, actually though, like it's at 10:31, so it seems like we covered everything pretty nicely. If you guys can leave now, we're gonna continue talking a little bit. I feel like we have a little bit more things to say in terms of like with our community. This is our community, these is our people, right? That's my boy in the gym, or Najim. You know what I'm saying? I spent a day, 2 days in the same room with this homeboy, so it was crazy. I think in terms of conviction, right?
This
I
guy
think
loves Scooby snacks.
I like Scooby snacks. I'm a dog. Um, sometimes when it comes to living with conviction, I don't know. I don't know if I have the right words for it, but it's almost like I'm trying to say like maybe don't have too much conviction. I know that's not the right way to say it, but I'll try to explain what I'm trying to say. Right? Which is don't be so sure. Leave a little bit of room for doubt. Right? Now, don't let the doubt take over, right? But when we have that room for doubt, we have space for new ideas to come in, right? And so when we're so like you'll be like, I'm so sure that this Facebook ad is gonna work. I'm so sure, right? Don't matter how much conviction you got, if you got a messy ad, then it's not gonna work right. And that's what we have that we have to have that little bit of doubt and say, hey, you know what, homie, come and check out my ad real quick, please. Right? Come and review it, right? And so that's why it sort of just goes back to like having the right group of people that you can ask a question and they're gonna know how to give you a right answer that's right for you, not what they think is right, but there's those people that they're not trying to force their life upon you, right? They're not trying to force their childhood dreams of what they could be. Oh, fucking not Jim. He left and he asked to come back again. Okay. Um yeah, yeah, yeah. They're not
Alejandro,
what's
is
up?
it a matter of having a doubt, or is it a matter of like conviction can be rigid, so it's flexibility. So instead of having a
Yeah, there you go.
it's
Yeah, that's what it is. Yeah.
rigidity versus flexibility, and when we think of conviction, it can be pretty rigid. But can you have conviction and still maintain flexibility within that conviction? Is that what you were going at?
Yeah, that's sort of what I'm saying. Like I don't know if you guys ever seen like a hay bale grass, right? Like what horses eat. Now, this is really, really interesting, right? Because you can grab this, right? I'm gonna pretend that this is a piece of grass, right? And what you could do, what you do with it is you can bend the piece of grass in literally every single direction, twist it, give it all sorts of shapes, right? But when it comes to pulling, you can break it like this, right? But you can't break it by pulling it, right? Like you can't break it like a piece of like the grass that comes from a hay bale, not like a regular yard grass. Um, you try to pull it like this, and it won't break, right? And so it's like really, really strong in one direction, and which is the direction of like forward. That's basically what it is. It's like forward, right? That's the direction it's taking. But it has that flexibility. So you make a bend, straightens out by itself. You bend it a little bit. You got to bend yourself a little bit, and And as soon as you release the tension, you'll straighten out by yourself, right? And the path is clear. The path is forward, right? So being like, it sort of just kind of goes back to like being like nature, right? Seeing what elements you want to be like and realizing that shit, I mean, you made of the same shit. You're fucking organic matter, just like that piece of grass right there, you know? So in a way, it's like don't even take yourself too serious, you know? You just nature, man, you know? So like sometimes we'll put too much weight on ourselves. We'll carry too much weight, especially, you know, when you really want it. When you really want it, man, it just sort of feels like it's not happening fast enough, right? And you're like, I'm putting in the work. I'm putting in the work. And then you're like, I'm also not putting enough work, right? And so we're you know what I mean? Like we're like, I'm doing a lot and I'm not doing enough. We're sort of trying to balance this within ourselves. Um, it can throw us off. It can very much throw us off, because well, both of those things, they're opposites, right? And what happens when you're being pulled in opposite directions is you stay stuck, right? Until one side, one opposite end begins to have more power. Then it begins to move in that direction, right? But you don't want it to be in the direction that you don't want, right? You want it to be a positive one, but that's the tricky part there, because well, when you're stuck, you actually don't know what's right or wrong, right? You don't know anymore. Like you sort of like, and that's sort of a stage that I'm in right now is like, well, at least I started going through it, which where I was like, I was like, I don't know anything. Like, I don't know what good is. I don't know what bad is. Like, these are all just ideas that people have put in us, right? Like, you know, like let's just say, you know, killing is bad, right? But then people can justify it in their own minds if they're doing it for religion, you know? And so like I know I would justify killing as well if it came to my family. Like if it was like somebody in my house and like they were doing really bad things and they had a bad intention, I'd justify it as well, right? But does that make me a bad person for doing a bad thing, right? It's like, well, it was the right thing to do, but maybe it wasn't a good thing to do, right? And so that's the sort of world that I'm sort of navigating myself through right now. It's like learning again what is right and what is wrong, and realizing that my right or wrong is going to be different from other people's right or wrong. And as long as I'm not hurting nobody, right, then I think I'm good. You know, if I'm not hurting anybody and I'm discovering myself, well, I think that's the right thing to do. And I have to remind myself that I'm doing the right thing. I'm not doing the wrong thing. I'm actually doing the right thing. And any doubt that people are saying, oh, don't do this, don't do that. You know, don't post this, don't post that, don't wear that. You look funny. Um, those are just those are just they're there to trigger you.
You know, it's coming up
They're
for
there
me
to
when
trigger you.
you're saying
Go ahead,
something.
man.
What's coming up for me is my friend who says, you know, hey, I'm doing crystal meth. I'm not hurting anybody, and she's actually like hurting everyone. So you know, like I'm not hurting anyone. So I think you know we tend to judge other people by their actions, and we tend to
Why
judge
what
ourselves.
why is crystal meth bad? Why is crystal meth bad though? Like
Well,
why does it why can it not,
when
you know?
when you just completely destroy yourself, and I'm not doing the judgment, but it's the meth
But why
itself
is that
isn't.
bad though? But why is that considered bad to destroy yourself? Like that's sort of like, I'm not saying like
Well,
that's
it
the stage
affects
that
other
I'm at right
people.
now,
It
where it's
affects
like even
me.
things like that.
It affects other people. It affects, you know, she lost custody of her child because she was not responsible as a parent. Her child was getting hurt. Okay. So I'm not throwing the judgment out, but like, you know, we tend to judge other people by their actions, and we tend to judge ourselves by our intentions. And I think it's just really weird that we have this lower standard for ourselves. And so if we're going to be convicted about something, let's not just be convicted from an intention point of view. Let's be convicted from an action point of view. And just because you declare I'm not hurting anyone, that doesn't necessarily make it the truth. Because a lot of people get hurt. Her son got hurt. I got hurt. We were supposed to get married, and she just forgot I existed. I got ghosted. Okay, because all she wants to do is get high 24/7. This is 5 years ago. Okay, but people do get hurt from our, if we're doing actions that make you like she has lost her free agency. She can't choose to not get high or get high. She has to get high because she's so addicted, and she does not have the willpower to overcome the chemical addiction. Okay, so what came up for me is just this idea that we can think that we're not being we can be very convicted that we're not hurting others, but is it the truth? So again, there's this difference between I sincerely believe I'm not hurting anybody, but the truth is maybe you are. And so we just need to sort those two things out.
Yeah, that's why I was saying earlier, like you should be grounded in truth, right? And so if you're saying to yourself that you're not hurting anybody but you are hurting somebody, well, then that's not truth, so then that's not, you can't be in conviction at that point. You're an illusion. um
Yeah,
but
man.
yeah.
And I think one of the most important elements of that is like knowing in your heart of hearts that you're a good person. I think that's such an important belief to have, because if the heart of hearts you believe that you're a bad person, you're going to have this internal conflict 24/7, right? You're just going to run around like being like, "Oh no, but I'm bad though. But no, but there's something wrong with me. But I'm not good enough." And that feeling will keep coming up again and again until you deal with the fact that no, ultimately I am a good person. And so I think that like foundation of knowing that, but also knowing the facts, obviously, like if you're doing like, right, there's like taking bad actions and then there's being a bad person, which are two different things, right? So understanding that, yeah, having that moral compass is really important. And I like what you said, Ivan, of not having too much conviction in the way that you said it. It's like not being stubborn or rigid, or I would say attached, right? Attached to an idea. Because attachment comes from a frequency of fear, right? Of like, oh, when I'm attached to a certain set of ideas or beliefs, I don't become the person in control of those ideas anymore, right? It takes, there's another thing outside of me that's taking over, that's taking control, just like the meth example, right? Of like the substance taking you over, right? Where you don't have free will anymore or like choice anymore. So yeah, that, and also understanding that a lot of empaths and people who are more sensitive, like I definitely say that they need actually more separation rather than connection. Because if you're like, I'm divine, I'm connected with everything, and this might be going against the narrative of this idea, but if you feel like I'm divine and I'm connected to everything, right? That's true. But then again, that means also, does that mean that you have no boundaries over yourself? Like, this is me. Like, I have a sense of self, right? And so having a strong sense of self, self-esteem, self-worth, self-love, these are important things to have and be able to actually, hold on to, and not just purely go into connection. And for a narcissist, I would say, yeah, work on connecting with others more instead of putting on this mask and like, going into this internal world. Um, so I'd give the opposite advice to somebody else in that situation. But do you guys see what I mean by that?
Yeah. I hear you. It's the one thing that there's one thing I don't agree with you, and and this just because it's like this is where I'm at in my stage of development is what you said. You have to reaffirm to yourself that you're a good person. Like I don't wanna play like anymore in like the duality of like, am I good or am I bad? Am I left or am I right? Am I depressed or am I happy? Right? I want to like step out of that more. And so I don't know, I sort of feel like you sort of end up in a trap where you can get stuck trying to
Yeah,
see if you're good. Like, am I good? Am I good? And what does good really mean?
it's a
Good sort
relative.
of just
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. It's a relativity trap, right? Like this is good, like this shirt is good, but is it good compared to this cup of coffee, right? And then you start comparing, right? What is good and what is better. And yeah, that's how, yeah, that's when that trap comes in. Yeah, I agree with that, man, for sure. It's a relativity trap. Like it's bad, but is it bad as, this other thing? Okay, now we're starting to compare things and it becomes, yeah, more complicated. Yeah, I get that, man. So
And
thank
why
you.
does it have to be good versus bad? Can it be good versus better and best?
Mm, true. Yeah. And once you're on that spectrum of duality, you understand that you're the person at the choice point of those two dualities, right? So it's like good and bad, but you're still the one deciding whether it's good or bad, right? So it's all coming from your own experience, your own vision, and you're the choice point, right? You're the one who can choose that uh, to interpret, right? You're the interpretation machine. So yeah, it comes down to you also understanding that you are that choice point or that awareness, that pure awareness that can make those decisions. To be cause. I saw that, Ivan, you posted that, right? Because. So yeah, man. Powerful stuff, guys. Very powerful. Do you guys want to wrap up? Any questions? Oh yeah. Any questions, guys? Do you want to ask us in regards to certainty or conviction?
or anything.
I saw Ryan had his hand up.
I think he wanted to say that we should wrap up. That's what he's gonna say.
Ryan, is this objectively the truth? Yeah. Okay. Okay. All right. Good. All right. Well, thank you so much for being here, guys. If you showed up late, catch the replay. I post these on my YouTube channel, so you can always watch them back if you missed any of the elements and reflect on any of the things that you said. If you have anything that you said that you want to cut off or something personal, let us know personally. We'll chop it up. And also, me and Ivan, we're hosting an event next month. I think mid next month is what we've decided. It's called Writing Reality. Okay, so we're gonna have 3 days. Day one is all gonna be about the past and like just releasing the past and getting rid of the past stories and the storylines. Then day two is all about the reality that you're currently living in and just like the present, right? So dealing with the present and all the issues that you might have at the present, as well as day three is going to be all about the future and like handling like you actually stepping into your core authentic character and like the archetype and the character that you want. So it's called Writing Reality. It's 3 day event and we do take payment plans. Ivan, do you want to say something around that
Yeah,
event?
yeah. So what I want to say is that, like, we have an archetypal identity, right? And that sort of just means like who you are, who you fit in the storyline of the universe. What is your role? What is the character that you're playing in the storyline of the universe? And essentially that's what we're going to be covering, and not just talking about it. The whole thing is about application of it. So in a way, you're going to become a writer. You're going to become like a somebody who makes a theater play, but you're going to make a new play, and this is going to be the play of your life. And you're going to have to redesign your whole character. You're going to have to create a whole new world for this person that you're going to become. What are their experiences? How do they experience life? Right? What are their memories? And at that point, it's not going to be what is your memory. It's what is their memory. And then we're going to integrate that person into you, because essentially that's the character that you're going to be playing. And you're a character. They say, oh, I love his character, right? He's got a great character, right? It's because we're all just actors, and this is life, and life is theater. So yeah, we're just excited. We're gonna make a poster. We're gonna put it out there. It's really cool stuff. Just you guys know. All right.
Thank you, brother. Oh, Yeah, thank you guys so much for attending, guys. We appreciate each and every single one of you. We're here every Sunday. As you guys know, invite your friends, get more people to hear about the event, post it on your social medias. And yeah, guys, may the flow be with you. May you never be the same again.